Hello guys, and welcome to my DVD collection for 2023. And this is similar to the other DVD collections that I've done over the previous years, but I've collected more DVDs since then. And so, let's continue on with the video. And we are starting off with this shelf, which has Thomas and Friends Pre-Peak Party, Thomas and Friends Truckloads of Fun, Thomas and Friends Bumper Collection Seasonal Scrapes, the very best of Thomas and Friends, Thomas and Friends The Chocolate Crunch and Other Stories, Thomas and Friends Happy Little Helpers, Thomas and Friends Engines to the Rescue, Thomas and Friends All Aboard with the Steam Team, Thomas and Friends Pulling Together, Thomas and Friends It's Great to Be an Engine, Thomas and Friends The Complete Series 1, Thomas and Friends The Complete Series 2, Thomas and Friends The Complete Series 3, Thomas and Friends The Complete Series 4, Thomas and Friends Pre-Peak Parade, 3 cheers for Thomas, Thomas and Friends Bumper Party Collection, Thomas and Friends Calling All Engines, Thomas and Friends Thomas's Trusty Friends, Thomas and Friends Tales from the Tracks, Thomas and Friends Little Engines Big Days Out, Thomas and Friends Engines and Escapades, Thomas and the Magic Railroad, Thomas and Friends The Complete 6 Series, Thomas and Friends The Complete 7 Series, the carry case release of Truckloads of Fun, Thomas and Friends on Track for Adventure, Thomas and Friends The Spirit of Sodor, Thomas and Friends The Great Discovery, Thomas and Friends Carnival Capers, Thomas and Friends The Complete Life Series, Thomas and Friends The Complete Life Series, the Classic Collection release, Thomas and Friends Heave Ho, Thomas and Friends The Complete 8th Series 10, Thomas and Friends Creaky Cranky, Thomas and Friends Thomas and the Runaway Kite, Thomas and Friends Splish Splash Splosh, Thomas and Friends The Best of Thomas, Thomas and Friends Christmas Express, Thomas and Friends Pop Goes Thomas, Thomas and Friends The Birthday Express, Thomas and Friends The Complete Series 12, Thomas and Friends Day of the Diesels, Thomas and Friends Rescue on the Rails, Thomas and Friends Curious Cargo, Thomas and Friends Blue Mountain Mystery, Thomas and Friends The Complete Series 14, Thomas and Friends Go Go Thomas, Thomas and Friends Edward and Gordon, Thomas and Friends Thomas and Bertie, Thomas and Friends Thomas in Trouble, Thomas and Friends Thomas, Percy and Nicole, Thomas and Friends Percy Takes the Plunge, Thomas and Friends A Close Shave, Thomas and Friends King of the Railway, Thomas and Friends The Thomas Way, Thomas and Friends Spills and Thrills, Thomas and Friends Tale of the Brave, Thomas and Friends Santa's Little Engine, Thomas and Friends Darkness and Discoveries, Thomas and Friends Trouble on the Tracks, Thomas and Friends The Complete Series 16, Thomas and Friends Railway Mischief, Thomas and Friends First Class Stories, Thomas and Friends The Adventure Begins, Thomas and Friends Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure, Thomas and Friends The Christmas Engines, Thomas and Friends Signals Crossed, Thomas and Friends Start Your Engines, Thomas and Friends The Complete Series 17, Thomas and Friends The Great Race, Thomas and Friends Thomas's Christmas Carol, Thomas and Friends Tales from the Rails, Thomas and Friends Extraordinary Engines, Thomas and Friends The Complete Series 18, Thomas and Friends Team Up with Thomas, Thomas and Friends Journey Beyond Sodor, Thomas and Friends Christmas on Sodor, Thomas and Friends Danger at the Docks, Thomas and Friends On the Go with Thomas, Thomas and Friends The Complete Series 19, Thomas and Friends All Aboard with the Steam Team, Thomas and Friends Big World Big Adventures, Thomas and Friends Digs and Discoveries, Thomas and Friends The Royal Engine, Thomas and Friends Carnival Day, Thomas and Friends, Marvelous Adventures, Thomas and Friends, The Super Engine, Thomas and Friends, Animal Adventures, Bob the Builder Live, Bob the Builder and the Knights of Camelot, Bob the Builder Speedy Skip, Bob the Builder Teamwork Challenge, Bob the Builder A Christmas to Remember, Bob the Builder Feast of Fun, Bob the Builder Bob's Winning Team, Bob the Builder The Great Race and Scoop the Disco Digger, Thomas and Friends Bob the Builder Snowed Under, the Bobsburg Winter Games, Bob the Builder Bob's Big Plan, Bob the Builder Chip Off the Old Block, Bob the Builder Skateboard Spud, Bob the Builder Trailer Travis, Bob the Builder When Bob Became a Builder, Bob the Builder Let's Scram, Bob the Builder Super Speedy Benny, Bob the Builder Built to be Wild, Bob the Builder Bob's White Christmas and Other Stories, Bob the Builder Scarecrow Dizzy and Other Stories, Rolly and the Rockstar Star and Other Stories, Bob the Builder The Complete First Series, Bob the Builder Scrambler to the Rescue, Bob the Builder On Site Roads and Bridges, Bob the Builder Pilchard's Breakfast and Other Stories, Bob the Builder the Complete Second Series, Bob the Builder On Site Homes and Playgrounds, Bob the Builder Bob's Rescue and Other Stories, Bob the Builder Race to the Finish, Bob the Builder The Three Musket Trucks, Bob the Builder On Site Skyscrapers, Bob the Builder Adventures in Bobland Bay, Bob the Builder Radio Bob, Bob the Builder The Best of Bob, Bob the Builder On Site Trains and Tree Houses, Bob the Builder The Legend of the Golden Hammer, Bob the Builder Can-Do Crew, Bob the Builder Starting from Scratch, Bob the Builder The Complete Collection Series 3 and 4, Bob the Builder The Big Dino Dig, Bob the Builder A Christmas to Remember, the 2011 release, Bob the Builder Seaside Adventures, Bob the Builder Super Scrambler, Bob the Builder Here to Help, Bob the Builder Can We Fix It? Yes We Can, Bob the Builder Building Sky High, Bob the Builder Bob's Winter Build, Bob the Builder Dig This, Bob the Builder Mega Machines, Bob the Builder Lofty Lets Loose, Harry Hill First Class Scamp, Harry Hill in Hooves, Harry Hill's TV Bulb Gold, Harry Hill's TV Bulb Gold 2, Harry Hill's TV Bulb Gold 3, Harry Hill's TV Bulb The Best Bits, Harry Hill's Cream of TV Bulb, the Harry Hill movie, the BFG, the 1989 film, the Magic Roundabout, the 2005 film, Home Alone, SpongeBob SquarePants, Lost in Time, Rory the Racing Car, Bumper Collection 2, Thomas and Friends The Complete Series 13, Sooty Wacky Washing, Sweep Superdog, Disney Pixar 7 Unforgettable Short Films, The Simpsons The Complete First Season, The Simpsons The Complete Second Season, The Simpsons The Complete Third Season, The Simpsons The Complete Fourth Season, The Simpsons The Complete Fifth Season, The Simpsons The Complete Seventh Season, Numberjacks Are on Their Way, Numberjacks Calling All Agents, Numberjacks Standing By to Zoom, Numberjacks Brain Gain, Numberjacks Counting Down to Christmas, Numberjacks Seaside Adventure, Fifi and the Flower Tots, Fifi's Talent Show, Fifi and the Flower Tots, Fifi's in Charge, Fifi and the Flower Tots, Tots Chocolate Surprise, Fifi and the Flower Tots, Fun at the Fair, Fifi and the Flower Tots, Fifi's Frosty Morning, Fifi and the Flower Tots, Fifi's Happy Day, Fifi and the Flower Tots, Fifi's Snowy Fun, Fifi and the Flower Tots Bumper Collection, The Best of Fifi and the Flower Tots, Fifi and the Flower Tots 2 Hour Bumper Collection, Fifi and the Flower Tots Twinkle Time Bumper, Fifi and the Flower Tots Hide and Seek, Rory the racing car, Rory's first day. Rory the racing car, Rory takes off. Rory the racing car, stars and cars. Rory the racing car, Christmas bumper collection. Rory the racing car, bumper to bumper. Rory the racing car, putting on a show. PJ Masks, time to be a hero. PJ Masks, let's go PJ Masks. PJ Masks, save the summer. PJ Masks, hello Christmas. PJ Masks, cracking the case. Wallace and Gromit 3 cracking adventures. All 3 releases. The 2000 release, the 2005 release, and the 2007 release. Wallace and Gromit, the complete collection. Wallace and Gromit, a mat of loaf of death. Wallace and Gromit, a close shave. Shaun the Sheep, shape of his Shaun. Shaun the Sheep, off the bar. Shaun the Sheep, Saturday Night Shaun. Shaun the Sheep, abracadabra. Shaun the Sheep, wash day. Shaun the Sheep, spring lamb. Shaun the Sheep to his company. Shaun the Sheep, party animals. Shaun the Sheep, the big chase. Shaun the Sheep, we wish you a Merry Christmas. Shaun the Sheep, sheer heat. Shaun the Sheep, Christmas bleating. Shaun the Sheep, ape flock to the floor. Shaun the Sheep, picture perfect. Shaun the Sheep, 10 years. Shaun the Sheep, the movie. Shaun the Sheep, Farmageddon. The original Sooty Show, Wet n Wild Water Fun. The Sooty Show, Izzy Wizzy, Let's Get Busy. Sooty, the big surprise. Sooty, happy birthday Sooty. The Sooty Show, the Sooty Christmas special. Sooty sweeping through the big day out. The Sooty Show Volume 1. The Sooty Show Volume 2. The Sooty Show Volume 3. The Sooty Magic Show. Sooty the Children's Party. Sooty Fitness Fanatic. Sooty Halloween Special. Sooty Panto Palava. Rainbow Zip Up Zippy. Rainbow My Mate Zippy. Rainbow 30th Anniversary Special. Rainbow Songs, Gate, Rhymes, Stories and Tales. Bean the Ultimate Disaster Movie. Mr. Bean Volume... The 3 of the original classic episodes Volume 1. Mr. Bean, 3 of the original classic episodes Volume 2. Mr. Bean the Animated Series Volume 1. Mr. Bean the Animated Series Volume 2. Mr. Bean the Animated Series Volume 3. Mr. Bean, 3 of the original classic episodes Volume 3. Mr. Bean the Animated Series Volume 5. Mr. Bean the Animated Series Volume 6. Mr. Bean, 2 of the original classic episodes Volume 5. Mr. Bean's Holiday. Mr. Bean Volume 1. Mr. Bean Volume 2. Happy birthday, Mr. Bean. Merry Christmas, Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean Racing Adventures. Mr. Bean Hallow Bean. Mr. Bean Super Bean. Mr. Bean Egg and Bean. Mr. Bean on Thin Ice. The Simpsons Film Festival. The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. The Simpsons Backstage Pass. The Simpsons Risky Business. The Simpsons Bot Wars. The Simpsons Strike Back. The Simpsons Too Hot for TV. The Simpsons Greatest Hits. Christmas with The Simpsons. The Simpsons Gone Wild. The Simpsons On Your Marks, Get Set, Go. The Simpsons Against the World. The Simpsons Christmas 2. The Simpsons Crime and Punishment. The Simpsons Around the World in 80 Days. The Simpsons Movie. SpongeBob SquarePants, Nautical Nonsense and Sponge Buddies. SpongeBob SquarePants, Tales from the Deep. SpongeBob SquarePants, Lost at Sea. SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob Goes Prehistoric. The SpongeBob SquarePants Movie. SpongeBob SquarePants, Sponge for Hire. SpongeBob SquarePants, Home Sweet Pineapple. SpongeBob SquarePants, Fear of a Krabby Patty. SpongeBob SquarePants, Whale of a Birthday. SpongeBob SquarePants, Karate Island. SpongeBob SquarePants, Christmas. SpongeBob SquarePants, Friend or Foe. SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob and the Big Wave. SpongeBob SquarePants, To Love a Patty. SpongeBob SquarePants, the Great Party Caper, SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob on Tour, Paddington Bear, please look after this bear, Paddington Bear hits the jackpot, Paddington Bear alphabet treasure hunt, Paddington Bear goes to the movies, Paddington complete DVD collection, Paddington in London, Paddington Bear a royal celebration, Paddington 2, Tweenies, ready to play in song time, Tweenies colours are magic, it's messy time, Tweenies party games, laughs and giggles, Tweenies music is Popperoonie, Tweenies let's play, Tweenies nighttime magic, Tweenies let's all make music, Tweenies jungle adventure, Tweenies fizz, Tweenies song time the complete collection, Tweenies the ultimate Christmas collection, and Tweenies practical jokes and other stories. And I think that does about it for part 1 of my DVD collection for 2023. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you later for part 2. Bye bye.